Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I was just trying to make some sense out of my software. It was acting up, so you might have saw me try to go live a few seconds ago, but something crazy happened. And so I had to go ahead and redo the stream. So I see right now, I just got a notification. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and like my own video. Somebody said, hello, what's going on, Kimberly? Kimberly Weaver. She's the first in the chat. Yeah. And I'm about to chat to him. Say, hey, Kev. Hey, to myself. To myself. Yeah. Oh, here come people. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let me go and like the video before I forget. And here we go. It's showtime. Yeah. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. Doing whatever it is that you do. Yeah. Hopefully staying out of trouble and out of liberal loony land. Telling you, it's crazy, man. You step everywhere you step, you might just step in all kind of liberalism. And that's bad. You don't want to get that liberalism on your shoe. You don't want to get that on your shoe. You can't wipe it off. Yeah. So if you all can hear me and you can see me, I might as well go ahead and get busy. And then I'll talk about the preliminaries before we get into it. Oh, yeah. Somebody said, what's on for tonight? Oh, you about to find out. It's about to get real physical up in Kevin's Corner. Let's get it. Gorillas in here, gorillas in here, gorillas in here, gorillas in here. Yeah, man. And don't forget, there's a corner store in here, Kevin's Corner Store. So if you guys are feeling generous and want to go ahead and shop for some merch, you can do that with simply the link below the video. Kevin's Corner Store. Got all kind of stuff you can get. And that number on the screen, 330-974-4607. You can text Kevin to, not Kevin, you can text MAGA to that number. And this way I'll have you locked in just in case somebody boot me off of this here platform, which wouldn't be cool, but you never know. They might act a fool. All right. And besides that, make sure you subscribe to my alternative channel. And if this is your first time to this channel, welcome to Kevin's Corner. I hope you enjoy your stay. And make sure you hit a like button on your way. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that. And make sure you turn your notification button on to all, or you just may not get a message. Now, let's get into what we were talking about on my thumbnail, which is the Democrats, y'all. They're making, I saw Elon Musk throwing a tantrum over the big spending bill. I haven't really dove into it yet. A couple of things I want to get to before I dive into that one. But we're definitely going to have to go ahead and see what's going on with that. You know, folks trying to, drive a wedge between, the two and all of that stuff. We'll see. We'll see what that's all about. But nonetheless, in my title, I talked about how Democrats are making, gains when it comes down to some of their voters. But the question becomes, what type of gains? What type of voters are you talking about? So let's get into it tonight and see. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at this. Let me see, since I can't read it backwards. All right, looks like Democrats are gaining ground with one key demographic. What? The mentally ill? So the mentally ill? Are you serious? Okay, let's see what this is. Wow, look at that. Democrats are the party of the mentally unstable nut jobs. Do y'all agree or disagree? I think there's some validity to these comments. Mentally unstable nut jobs. And whenever you see a lot of their protesters happen to show up and people put mics in their face, you have to question it. You're like, yo, that person doesn't seem like they're wrapped too tight. I don't know if I want to invite them to the picnic. They might get in there and embarrass me. So let's continue. Here we go. Well, look at that. Mental health. Okay. All right. Well, let's see some stats. Let's see some stats. Oh my. Well, look at that. Conservatives. Okay. All right. Then the Democrats. So let's see. Mental health rating. Wow. Look at that.
And I don't think the Democrats would have expected that.
I don't know, man. I didn't need a poll to know they were unwell. Just drive around and see someone wearing a mask in their car. Drive around and see someone wearing a mask in their car. And you know who they're voting for, and you know they're not okay.
And you know that. That's the crazy part about that. There's a lot of signs to tell you that. When they're riding around with a whole bunch of liberal bumper stickers on and peace symbols and things like that, and the rainbow colored flags stuck to their car as a billboard or something, you already know. That's a liberal. When they're rocking purple and blue hair and red hair and stuff, you're going, there we go. That's a liberal. And definitely when you see them rocking that big mask, but they really manifest themselves when they send all of these liberal operatives to events, to protest or do whatever. And you're saying, you might not be wrapped too tight when you let the Democrat Party manipulate you into this type of outrage, this type of anger, vitriol. In fact, this type of belief, the belief in some of the narratives that the Democrats are pushing and the fake news are pushing, I'm thinking you have to be mentally, I guess, vulnerable to that type of brainwashing and manipulation. I mean, we're going to be seeing some clips tonight where these folks are passionate about what they feel. You know, it's in the bone and you can tell. And I'm saying, I don't know how you are doing up top, mentity. I think you might be struggling mentity. Starting off with Homer Simpson head right here. So let's go ahead and get into it and see where all of this craziness comes from. It starts from the top.
I feel like there's folks that aren't willing to say the things necessary because they might be worried they might not get reelected if they say that. I'm not going to say that, and I don't think any of us can. I'm getting called out on this because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is.
Boy, I tell you. So now here's Homer Simpson head out there talking to his liberal audience, and my gut tells me Homer Simpson head right here is a real serious liberal. He's not just a Democrat liar. This guy has been drinking his own Kool-Aid. He's been getting high off his own supply. He ain't distributing the liberalism no more. He's drinking it. He's on it. Yeah, you can't even get a hit of liberalism from him because he's taking his own supply. Right now, he's hogging up all of the wokeness. So any man that would come out there and tell you that little boys can use tampons can't be wrapped too tight. Mentity. See, I told you it starts from the top. Mentity. That was a decision you didn't have to make. You're telling me as the governor of a state, you could have left that one alone. But you make it your mission to ensure that tampons for little boys are in the bathroom. That's one of those you go, do I really want to commit to this? Because this would give the right, a serious talking point. They're going to be clowning me for days when this hits the mainstream. When folks outside of this bubble find out what I did, I'm going to look real crazy. And he did it anyway. Let's continue.
It's because he is. Oh.
What? That Trump, the wannabe dictator? This is the guy that set up the hotline to snitch on people that don't wear masks or be out there not social distancing and stuff like that. Set up that hotline. Doot, 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 doot. Yes, hello. Yes. That this is liberal number 72. And I just want to let you know I'm looking at some people outside. They're walking their dogs. No, they both have masks on, but they walk past each other. And they were a little too close. I think they were about 7.5 feet from each other. And according to all the statistics, you're supposed to be 10 feet. Yes. Send someone, please. Hurry up. Okay. Take care. Okay. I'll talk to you later, Homer Simpson head. That guy right there set up a hotline to narc on people. Now that sounds like a wannabe dictator to me. That's what that sounds like. Hey, we getting some rain outside, y'all. I'm loving it. Oh, yeah.
The governor's being mean, and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce.
No, maybe it's time for us to be a little more dumber and a little more stupid and a little more crazy. That's what he's really encouraging, see. He is encouraging these people to express the crazy gene. You know, I mean, it's like almost these people got a crazy gene that the Democrats and the fake news came along and unlocked it. And now it's bubbling up on the inside. So here he is talking about somebody that we're supposed to be a little meaner and this and this and that. Nobody's paying attention to this dude. Anybody who takes him seriously gotta have some problems, mentally. Got to. I mean, the worst pick ever as a VP, and he's still out there on the scene thinking he's relevant, thinking he's resonating with the average voter. If you didn't resonate during the election, when people really got a chance to see you and they was putting you out there all over the place, you think that's going to change the opinion right now that you're running around talking about being mean to Donald Trump?
Because we have to ferociously push back on this. And again, I'll speak to my teacher colleagues in here. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully, to watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back.
There you go. That's right. You're encouraging violence, Homer Simpson head. Why are you saying things like that when you know you got an audience that ain't wrapped too tight? Mentity. They might take you seriously. When they think of bullying, you know what, we got to do something. Let's go blow up some cars. Let's go set some places on fire. Let's go drag some people out there. Let's cut some people off while they're driving a Tesla and tell them to get out because you're driving a Nazi mobile. Let's do that. Let's do all this because Homer Simpson head here is out there encouraging that. He's activating the crazy gene, and a lot of the crazy folks is listening to him. Unbelievable. And then we'll drop a cuss word in there to show you that he's serious and that he's edgy and he doesn't care. He's radical. Politics be damned. It's beyond cordiality. That right now, I just want to make sure everybody understand how serious this is. Now go out and bully Donald Trump.
Push back.
I can code talk to white guys watching football fixing their truck.
First of all, we don't speak in code. You know, we're not aliens. Second of all, I might recommend to the governor that if your first move at a political event is to go right to the jazz hands, maybe you're not speaking the correct language.
And he is right. Soon as we saw Tampon roll out on the scene with the jazz hands, there you go, all that jazz. And with the claps, men should never bring the claps together in front of you, like bring them down here, create the air pocket to put a little bass in the clap. You don't want, that's treble. You're a man, I want some. That's Tim's claps. You know, hefty, hefty, hefty. Whippy, whippy, whippy. That's what he's clapping about. Yes, everyone, that's, ooh. And that, what was that move? Ooh. When he did that, he was done. I'm going, what? He's supposed to be the representative for the men? Ooh. What was that? Crazy, man. Lifting up the legs and stuff like that. That dude was nuts. So let's continue, all right? Make sure. Hefty. Whippy. Don't forget it. All right, here we go.
That you think you're speaking perhaps a different dialect, but this was maybe the dumbest analysis of the 2024 election I'd ever seen. I mean, we know why he was chosen. Because she couldn't pick the correct choice because he was Jewish. Let's be honest. She should have picked the governor of Pennsylvania, and her party wouldn't let her do it.
There you go. Party wouldn't let her do it. Now, why wouldn't the party let her do it? Because they're crazy. Yeah, these are the base voters of the Democrat Party now. Whereas you got to take in consideration, this man is Jewish, and we got a whole bunch of folks running around the country talking about free Palestine that would be most likely voters of ours. They're showing up at our events, harassing us, talking about you're supporting the genocide of the Palestinians and stuff like that. So now, instead of picking a more qualified person, they ended up picking Tampon Tim and did him in. They put Tampon Tim on the map. And it's a good thing for us. I'm glad we got a chance to experience what's really going on up there in Minnesota when they are electing folks like Homer Simpson head. Tampon Tim running around off the leash now. And all he's doing is pushing all of the same folks towards conservatives and encouraging their new crazy voters to come in, which we outnumber the crazies. So let's continue.
So she ends up picking this camouflage hat-wearing buffoon that comes from your state.
There it is. Get him, Scott. Don't spare him. Because that's exactly what he is. Out there trying to pretend he's hunting. Be very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. I can't put the bullets in my gun. That guy was out there trying to convince us that this is what real men do. We go out and hunt. Now, wait a minute. Where do you load this? Looking down the barrel. Is there any bullets in here? I don't understand. Where's all the bullets at? Unbelievable. Let's continue.
Who I am convinced actually cost her votes, but I am more than glad was on the ticket so that J.D. Vance could kick his ass at the debate.
Bravo! Isn't that the truth?
Why do you think it is that Democrats have had such a hard time convincing men and young men in particular of their message lately, and conservatives have been much more successful at it through Trump?
Yes, tell us, Scott. Tell us, because the Democrats are making headways with certain types of people. Okay, and I think you'll be able to get the analogy based on, starting off like, yes, and then all of a sudden the voice starts going up a little higher, and then next thing you know, you got people running around talking about, you know what do you see when you see me? You see a man or a woman. Yeah, that's why.
It's very simple, because they care more about dudes who want to be women than dudes who just want to be dudes. That is the main reason.
Bingo! That's exactly why. You don't see them promoting any masculine men, any confident men, nothing. Just straight focusing on the weakest of men. If they are straight, they're just very weak straight men with low testosterone. You got Cory Booker out there overcompensating, and we still don't know whatever happened in that bathroom. Yeah, we got to get to the bottom of Bathroom Gate at some point. Yeah, you got Hawker Jeffries out there. He's another one. Just weak dudes. When you see them, if you are a real man, you just feel like eating them. Every time you see them, you're sitting there like this. They just ignite the animal in you. Like, man, I just feel like a predator right now. Just want to eat that wily, gentle woodland creature right there. Out there, they stick Cory Booker out there overcompensating, screaming, yelling. All of that mess. They're so fake. And the men that come out try to project manliness, and it just don't resonate with men. And then the rest of them are very gentle. And then when you turn to the women, boy, man, that's the hyena clan over there with the Democrats. I mean, their women are angry, mad, vicious, always throwing out all kind of accusations of racism, sexism, and telling you to shut it up when you're talking to a woman. And you know what? Don't mansplain to me and lower your testosterone, buddy. Just horrible. Who wants to be a part of an angry group of people? Democrats and Democrat voters are in a constant state of anger. Constant state of anger. They're walking around mad for nothing. Hello. I mean, what's so hello about it? You're like, oh, God, you're one of those. You're one of those. Can't go out and kick it with them without them identifying some type of injustice. Go out on a date and don't know you're out on a protest. Sitting there and she's looking all around. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Madam, would you like the steak? No, I don't like the steak. You animal killer. Big bucket of blood all on the dang going guy. You go, where'd you get blood from? What? Oh no, you thought we were out on a date? No. I'm here to protest against animals that are being eaten. And you're going, oh my God, I can't believe this. This chick brought a bucket of blood under the table. And I'm here at a protest, animal protest. So that's what ends up happening when you're dibbling and dabbling in liberalism. Let's continue though.
I think it's a waste of money.
Maybe.
Oh, shucks. Here we go to the witch's table, the witch's brew. So now you hear two cans saying those open up. I think it's a waste of money. So she's talking about all of that money they're spending to try to win back men. They want to make gains with men. That's what they want. So yeah, she's saying it's a waste of money, but I'm wondering why. Now, even though these very watered down Republican, she ain't even a Republican, and the other one who claims she's a libertarian, they're going to try to help big nose toucan saying purist Joy Behar, who is really bought into all this nonsense. They're going to try to help her out with some logic, and it's going to go right through those big nostrils.
These guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe.
Now, you hear this? You hear this bullshit? She really believes that. You throw out something stupid like that. I think they should spend this money on how to teach guys how to not be so sexist. This is fascinating that they think this is the sum of why Kamala Harris lost. This is the sum of why the Democrat Party are losing men. This is pure delusion right here. So now what she's thinking, that go ahead and just beat out the sexist gene. In her head, we're walking around like we're back in the day where you see the guys at the work site, girls walking by and their cat calling, hey Toots, come over here. I guess she thinks we're living back then. Back in the day where it's like, yeah, sweetheart, you don't want to get involved with a guy like me. I'm no good, I tell you. You're just a beautiful dame. Yeah, you're too pure for me. I'm no good, I tell you. I don't care, Johnny. I want to be with you. You don't know what you're saying. Shake her up a little bit. You don't know what you're saying. Yeah, so I guess she thinks that's the where we're living at nowadays. So teaching us how to not be so sexist.
But the stats don't bear that out now that we've seen the election.
The stats doesn't bear that out. But do you think Big Nose Toucan saying right there is worried about stats? She's celebrating it. She's celebrating her statement. Now, I'm going to tell you why she's celebrating it. She thinks she just hit the jackpot because that audience is clapping are Democrat voters. They're the ones that really believe that's the problem. Sexism. That's why Kamala Harris lost. So now here comes a little bit of rationality to balance the craziness out. Let's see what happens.
Donald Trump performed better than the previous several Republicans with most every people group. He did better with black men, better with Latino men, better with white men and white women.
All racist, though, all sexist. That's what that was. Donald Trump did better with he unleashed the sexist gene that all of us men have been suppressing. There it is. Yeah, man. Somehow he said the secret word to unlock our sexism. So now this woman breaks that out. How do you explain that? That's my question. How do you explain him making these gains in all of these areas? She can't. You think that little pea brain inside of Joey Behar's head is able to say, yeah, how did that happen? No, you know what? It's easier for me to just say, they're all sexist. Easier. Why would I hurt my head trying to say, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Maybe we should look into other possibilities and reasons. No, that hurts. That's too hard. They're all sexist.
It's just a fact that he has tapped into something. And what I think
he was running against a woman, I'm telling you.
But I'm saying,
oh God. Oh man. Where did they get these folks from? I'm telling you. See, she's believing it, man. She's a purist. He was running against a woman. I'm telling you. There it is. So now, that's easy. The sum of it all is the only reason Trump won is because he's running against a woman. We've made no gains when it's come to sexism and all of that stuff and misogyny and stuff like that.
that men showed up more for him. Oh, so you think that Democrats who were with Biden in 2020 left to be with Trump because they're sexist?
I don't know the reason, but it's very suspicious.
Yeah, you can't know the reason because you're too dumb to know the reason. See, this is the same logic that people made when, it was Obama. And then they talked about Trump comes along and all of a sudden now all of these folks vote for Trump and they're like, oh, it's only because that the white supremacists and stuff like that are voting for Trump. And I'm saying, okay, wait a minute. Obama wouldn't have gotten elected twice if all of these so-called white supremacists were like, we ain't voting for him. He got elected twice. He needed the white vote and he got it. That means there's a whole bunch of white folks voting for him. So you're telling me all of those white folks that voted for Obama twice, all of a sudden now just switched and became racist. They all was like, you know what, we had to tolerate the black guy. But now that he's gone, I voted for him twice. Let's go ahead and unleash all of our hidden racism and vote for Donald Trump. So they don't operate with any type of logic. That's why they have a bunch of low IQ voters. That's why you got to look at them and say, if you're making gains, You're making gains in areas of voters who really don't comprehend what's going on too well. They don't put these facts together. So here's Joy Behar. Let me throw out the statement first before the logic. The statement is this. It's because she was a woman. Now, when a woman hits her with some logic, she goes, I don't know. Well, how could you throw out a definite statement and you don't know? You can't even explain that pathway. You can't even put together some ideas and context clues and support your argument. Nope. This is liberals right here. We're just going to say it. And when you ask us deep questions, we're going, I don't know. So what one of your rights are being rolled back? All of them. Why is Donald Trump a racist? Because the media told me he is.
Vicious.
But I'll say this. Donald Trump has made himself the anti-establishment despite being the entire political establishment. And what I used to like about liberals is they were the anti-establishment. You protested Vietnam, you were civil rights.
Flip-flop.
Now you guys just defend the status quo, like to death. Like during
Right.
DOGE, you're like, don't touch a single federal program. No.
That's because they're programmable. The liberal brain is programmable. They're able to be reprogrammed based on, the narrative of the day. Like I said, how many of those people do you think really knew what USAID was? All of a sudden, the Democrats start telling them this is very important. It's going to be saving lives. And if we don't support USAID, people are going to die. And what did they do? Immediately adopted that. Immediately going out there talking about save USAID. Didn't even know what it does. Nothing. Easily programmable. And so, whatever direction the wind's blowing in, all the Democrats and the fake news got to do is come out and tell their liberal audience or viewers or voters that, hey, the word for the day is whatever. Insurrection. Oh, insurrection. Got it. Insurrection. How could you support a president that was an insurrectionist? The word for the day is Donald Trump is a 4-time convicted felon. How could you support the 4-time convicted felon? Did you hear what he said? He said bloodbath. Hey, he's calling for a bloodbath. You hear what he said? He wants to be a dictator. You hear he never disavowed the white supremacists. Anything they put in their heads, they say. Unbelievable.
Nobody likes the federal government. No one thinks it works well. No one's like, this is the solution. Let's not try to improve anything. I think there's like more of an imagination and policy issue that Democrats have, to your point. Ask how you can solve people's day-to-day problems
That's
better.
what politicians used to
Trump's
do.
gonna grieve
Public
it, but-
servants find problems, then get solutions.
And see, that's the problem. The Democrats, at this point, create problems and then lie about the solution. They create problems to create benefits for themselves, and the whole way they sustain that is they're lying about the solution. You vote for us, we're going to make sure we save Medicare. You vote for us, we're going to make sure you get the free tuition. You vote for us, you're going to... Yeah, they create these problems, and then they say, we created the problem because somewhere in that problem lies a benefit to us. That big fat border that they broke, you think they broke it because they were incompetent? No, they created a problem so they could benefit off that problem. Yeah, let's pretend that it's greater than us. Let's pretend it's seasonal migration. Let's pretend that these people are coming here for a better life. Let's pretend that we need Congress to go ahead and help us so we can change that. They do these things because they're saying, we can't tell the people why we're really doing it. We can't tell the people we were behind it. Let's pretend it just happened organically. And then we just now have to deal with it. And the way we deal with it is encouraging more of it. There we go. And misdirecting the blame. When people say, why are y'all allowing this to happen? We can't do anything about it. That the Republicans aren't willing to work with us on our border. So that's how they operate. But the simple-minded voters don't see that. They don't see the sleight of hand, the trick that they pull on them, because they're probably suffering mentally. So let's continue. Like Joy Reid, she really got it back. I mean, Joy Behar, and Reid too, but Behar definitely got it. Here we go.
Well,
You don't say, how do I get you to vote for me by changing how I talk to you? That's treating people like they're stupid.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't think they talk to their voters constantly like they're stupid? There you go. Yeah, they start off with just putting stupid ideas in their head. Yeah, bringing up stuff where you go, wow. So you're supporting a politician who says that we should support little kids getting transitional care, and they're calling it you know what? It's gender affirming care. And you bought that? Now you're mad at me Now you're calling me the transphobe because I don't support little kids being able to be transitioned. I'm the bad guy. Well, guess what? Take a good look at the bad guy, okay? Because this is the last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this. I'll tell you that much. Go ahead, take a good look at the bad guy. You need people like me, someone to point the finger and say, look, there goes the bad guy. That's what I have to say to them. I gotta go Tony Montana on them. Take a good look at the back. Okay, go ahead. Tell everybody. Tell everybody. I don't care. And when it comes down to this nonsense, you got to be crazy to buy into it. Let's continue.
Today, on Trans Day of Visibility, we celebrate the trans individuals in our communities and recognize their struggles for recognition.
Y'all see the snake himself? Yeah, man. That dude is slithering around. I guarantee you, if you watch closely, you might see a forked tongue shoot out of his mouth. Might shoot out the mouth real quick. You got to be, watching closely. So here he is, and this is the Democrat Party. Now, who's listening to what this dude is saying? They go, yeah, that sounds good. We really have to support this movement. So let's finish hearing him and see what is it about what these Democrat politicians are saying that are making them either lose common sense voters or gain mentally disturbed voters. So here we go.
And increasingly survival in the face of unfathomable hate.
Unfathomable hate. He's talking about the trans community. What unfathomable hate are you referring to? I wouldn't even be interested in these people if they would have snuck into girls' bathrooms. I wouldn't even be paying attention to these folks if I didn't see them making TikTok videos all over the place talking about, you know what? I'm in this restaurant and I got all my makeup, even though I got this big lockjaw and a beard and a mustache and big broad shoulders, but I do have a wig on and I got a little makeup on my face and stuff. And this person come up and they was like, sir, may I take your order? And I was like, hold up, who you calling sir? There he is right there. You see him? You see that bigot? You see that transphobe right there? So call me what? When we see stuff like that, we go, I got a problem. I had a problem with that type of behavior. See, when we see stuff like little boys being transitioned, when we see stuff like, boys in men's sports, and we go, what the heck is going on here? Do you think outside of that, I would be worried about these people's decisions, their personal choices? No. You think I would just be like, yo, these people have not tried to force this down our throats, but I'm just going to make it my mission to hate them. No. I mean, there are tons of folks out there with some of the most craziest ideas, behaviors, beliefs, stuff like that. I don't follow folks around hating them for what they do personally. It's when what you do personally enters society and you want to shove the craziness on everybody else. And then you get politicians who support and sanction that craziness and then try to make everybody who doesn't feel like they're some type of bigot. So now, once again, bring in the unfathomable hate. Well, let's see how the tides have turned.
Which leads them to often feel unsafe or like they don't belong.
Yeah.
And we also celebrate the many contributions that they've made.
Like
We've
what?
had trans leaders at the forefront of progress in every field imaginable.
Like making sure little kids get transitioned by putting people in the White House that's out there talking about, hi, my name is Rachel Levin. We want to focus on the little kids and the gender affirming. You mean like that? Are those the contributions and things like that? So now all of a sudden, the transgender community has contributed to everything, according to these people. But look what happens when Gavin Newsom starts to realize, wait a minute, I can't make gains with common sense voters when I'm speaking crazy stuff. Only people who connect to the crazy stuff is crazy folks. And we don't have enough of them to get me elected. So I got to make a political calculation to start pretending now that I'm embracing common sense stuff. Because I don't want to just make gains with the crazy folks. It ain't enough of them. We ain't going to win no elections like that. So here we go.
From STEM to the arts to human rights advocacy
All
to
of that.
so much more.
All across the country, we're seeing a rise in legal, political, and physical attacks on those in the trans community.
Yeah, about legal, political, and physical attack. Show me the evidence of all the physical attacks that's taking place with transgenders. I mean, is hypersensitive as that community is. And the fact that they're running around looking for every potential victimized situation where they can come out and say, look what happened to me. You would hear these attacks blasted out all over the place. It's probably because a lot of these attacks revolve them either not disclosing information to somebody or people in their own community. But if there was real trans folks running around out there targeting these people, you don't think this would be all over the network? They would blast that mess out everywhere. Today, a trans man was attacked. A trans woman was attacked. That these white supremacists attacked some trans. They pulled up at a trans party. They all went in with masks on and beat the transgenders up. I mean, they would be constantly pushing that everywhere. But this person's talking about often attacked. They always say stuff like that. You know what? There's violence against this group, and I'm going with violence. And if it is violence, it ain't coming from us. You don't see conservatives riding around in the MAGA bus, getting off the bus with bricks and pallets and stuff, just miraculously showing up and start breaking windows and with our MAGA mask on, running around, dropping elbows on the trans community, going into the Pride Week parade. All right, everybody, come on, Dad. Let's get off the bus and roll over there and start harassing these folks. And no, we don't do that. So where's all this violence and hate coming from? Yeah, so y'all interpret common sense pushback against the craziness that they're trying to introduce and shove down our throats as hate, violence, all this stuff. No, once again, if you mind your own business, I would walk on by, and wouldn't even look your way. But if I hear you go, excuse me, yes, when you walked by me, you didn't whistle and say, hey, you know what? You're a pretty fine dame. Well, that's because I wasn't paying attention to you and thought obviously you were a man. See, that's the problem. You know what your problem is? You don't like trans women. And it's because you thought I was a man, you didn't whistle at me. It's obvious that I'm a woman. Now give me one of those whistles. And then when you do that, you're a sexist. How dare you do that to me? Whistle at me. You think I'm just a piece of meat? I'm more than a piece of meat. I'm a man piece of meat. Wait, no, I'm a woman. Wait, which one am I? I forgot already. But anyway, that's how, they come off full-blown crazy. You're sitting there like, okay, let me just back up. This person's nuts. Let's continue, though.
And it's just appalling and unconscionable, this discrimination, and it's gone on for far too long. One day.
Oh boy, they was reading that script. It's abominable. It's abominable snowman. You know what? This reprehensible. It's ridiculous, and it's gone on for far too long. Far too long. How long has this third group of humans been around? What are you talking about? Far too long. That they was doing this in the 60s. Yeah, say I don't like to get involved with all those transgenders. You say. Yeah, here we are out on the work site. And you see all the trans coming around. Yeah. What are you talking about? Far too long. Man, this stuff has just been around for like the last couple years. And talk about this. It's been far too long. But anyway, let's continue though with this craziness.
See you later.
So like you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports,
right.
that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out and say no.
No, and I appreciate
but like, would you do?
There's the snake again, y'all. You see the snake? Oh man, that dude right there is about to blow with the wind. So he's starting to realize, y'all, we don't want to make gains with the folks that would be like, that's right, they've been persecuted far too long, and that we got to continue to fight for trans rights and stuff like that. Yeah, he realized there's no benefit in that. He's starting to realize, you know what? From a political standpoint, those are where the crazy folks lie. And I had to realize after this last election, the majority of the country is not nuts. So now I got to go ahead and pretend that I'm not pushing and supporting crazy behind policies. Now, we just saw him and his wife, him and his witch. Him and his witch was on TV talking about that we've been making gains and the transgender community been attacked and stuff. Now listen to what this flip-flopper has to say, because guess what? He wants to make gains with sane folk. He wants to try to make gains with the sanes.
do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that.
Easy to call out.
And you know what's
Well.
proving that point when you look at like Gavin Newsom on his podcast with Charlie Kirk, right?
He wants it so bad, bro. That mother is thirsty.
Which, exactly. But you see how quick he is to distance himself from trans athletes and stuff like that. So now it's like,
Of course, because they never believed in this stuff anyway. You think Joe Biden was supporting the trans community? He didn't know what he was supporting. They go out there and to whatever audience member we stick in front of you and say, hey, here's my little son. He's 9 years old and he wants to be a transgender girl. Do you support that, Mr. Biden? Yes, absolutely. If he's 9 and he wants to be a trans little boy, absolutely. And I'm going, So they really don't buy into a lot of this stuff, but some of them do. Some of them are really serious about this garbage. And then the majority of the Democrats go, let's find another victimized group so that we can attack them. And I mean, not attack them, but support them and label them as victims and then demonize everybody else. So let's continue. Here we go.
oh, so you never cared.
No, they never cared.
You never gave a fuck. It was just all about politics for you.
Yes.
It's all about that for all politicians.
No, it's not.
Absolutely.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, yeah, in the past, I would say yes. Trump is probably the most real person ever when it comes down to politics. And we've really changed the landscape when it comes down to bringing in more MAGA Republicans that are very straight to the point. They make sense and they say what they say, mean what they say. We still got the rhinos left over, but we're dealing with it for now. So, yeah, Trump is one of those people. You ain't got to wonder what he's thinking. Okay, but let's continue.
But some people show it better than others. Some people act like they care better than others.
Yeah, you need to learn how to lie better.
And I don't think Democrats are going to win so easily in 2028. I think that because the Democrats are...
You hear Charlemagne insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. That's right. That guy right there. And the lights are blinking. I'm thinking it's all over when I go out drinking. Ow. So now this guy right here who's insane in that brain is talking about the Democrats might not win in 28. And I'm going, you're right about that, but not for the reasons you think. And not to mention, here's the people he say that might slide through the cracks.
They're in such disarray. America will say, you know what, just give me a sensible Republican. Just give me a traditional conservative.
Yeah.
Like, give me a Nikki Haley, just somebody, just a regular conservative.
Obviously, you don't know MAGA right now. Yeah, we're vomiting up those type of politicians in our party. Those folks are done. They've shot themselves in the foot. They've revealed all of their rhinoism. They couldn't contain that horn sticking up every once in a while on their nose. And I'm going, yeah, we won't be voting for a Nikki Haley or any of them. They're sorely mistaken if they call themselves running in 2028. Yeah, they're going to be dissed. Let's continue.
Welcome back. California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is catching quite a bit of attention by proposing to scale back free health care in California for undocumented immigrants.
Oh, so now you see the snake in the grass? That guy right there is trying to go ahead and pretend that all of my policies aren't absolutely bat crazy. The only folks that support this nonsense is the ones that's insane in the brain. That's it. The only gains are people who's insane in the brain. That's the only gains they're making. If you are out there talking about that, you know what, these illegals need health care, you're insane. Yeah, you belong over there in the Democrat Party. So we're going to see an example of some of these insane in the brain folks that the Democrats are still hanging on to.
Under his new proposal, undocumented immigrants aged 19 and older would no longer be able to apply for the state's Medi-Cal insurance program. This would start next year if approved.
Yeah. So right now, even though this guy is fake as all get up, he's fake, but he is at least a intelligent fake. He's like, yo, I see the writing on the wall. I actually looked at the results of the election and people are going, are you kidding me? Are they out there giving out benefits to illegal immigrants? Yeah, but people out there in California, they're okay with it. Many of them. See, when regular people, though, hear this stuff and they go, what? You're telling me you're going to try to slide in a presidency and you're not going to try to start cleaning up that crazy, insane record? Yeah, so he's getting ahead of it. He's like, I don't want to make gains with the insane. I want to make gains with folks that got brains. That's what I want to do. And the problem with that is trying to do that is still not going to work because all the folks with brains know you are insane too. We know this is all a political calculation. You're starting to say, well, you know what? Hey, I'm the one that caught it early. I'm the one, I'm off chat. Yeah, he's trying to say later on, I'm the one that recognized that giving away all that money to the illegal immigrants was counterproductive. I'm the one that stood up for girls and making sure that transgender girls don't be over there in their sport winning. He's trying to position himself to be able to reference a moment in his candidacy where he switched and started to embrace more common sense policies. But the issue with it, once again, is we see it. We're going to do, you think you're fooling us? You think if it was not politically damning for you to make sure all these illegal immigrants have health care, you think you would have just immediately made these alterations? No. If it was popular and if they were making, gains with the same folk, he would be like, more health care for everybody. The problem is he's going, oh, shoot, I'm making gains with the wrong type of folks. So I got to go ahead and switch it. So let's continue hearing this because, see, all of the folks that are insane is about to come up and get mad at this dude.
The move follows a Trump administration announcement that it will investigate California for providing cash assistance to some undocumented immigrants. I want to bring in our political correspondent, Nydia Cavazos.
Major Governor Gavin Newsom announced earlier this morning that California is currently facing a deficit of over $12 billion. And in order to ease some of these economic concerns and make up...
how much of that money went towards proofing the whole country, Trump proofing it, huh? How much of that money went there? That we're going to go ahead and spend millions and millions while our big LA is burning down. While that's happening, we're going to be spending money on how we can stop Trump from coming in and deporting all of our precious illegal immigrants and stuff like that. See, when you hear about nonsense like that, you can't clean that up, Gavin the nuisance. I don't care how much you try to start altering some of your choices and policies to pretend that you're now maybe in the middle or, it doesn't work. We got too much evidence. All we need to do is bust out that Dookie map. And it's over with for you. If this guy runs, the first thing they should do is come in with that map with all of that doo-doo brown, y'all doo-doo brown, y'all doo-doo brown, y'all doo-doo brown. I want to rock, I want to rock, I want to rock. Bring in that dookie map and the show is over. They will laugh you off stage. I wouldn't even make one comment towards this dude. I would just be like, could you zoom into this, please? There you go. That right there is California. Yep, they're on the map. And I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about Dookie. That Dookie right there is on the map. Doo-doo brown, y'all, doo-doo brown. That's all you got to do to shut this man down. Oh, don't forget, you can also show the clips of his butt bringing in the, Emperor of China, Xi, and cleaning up everything. He wanted that Dookie off the streets then. Somebody go out there and get the Dookie sweeper. Sweep this doo-doo up. We got guests. No, not our regular, everyday common Americans. They're not guests. They're peasants. It doesn't matter. But now we got dignitaries coming in. Sweep this mess up. Soon as Chi left, bring the Dookie back. Now the Dookie back, and it's on the map. Let's continue.
For the state revenue, he's proposing scaling back on a state program that allows undocumented immigrants to receive free health care. And this...
Go figure. How did it even come to this? Why do you have to try to scale back on something that sounds so asinine and crazy? I mean, no American with common sense would have ever thought we'd be giving out free health care to illegal immigrants. Now you got to roll back on something that should have never existed. Should have never existed. That's like a doctor who supports gender affirming care for kids now coming out going, I see the writing on the wall. They're going to allow us to be sued and stuff later on. We know we're malpracticing this stuff right here. So I'm going to try to start saying, you know what? I got a revelation. I don't think it's a good idea to allow kids to be trained. And you're going, how did it even get that far? How? Because you got, 100 kids under you that you all helped because of gender affirming care. And now all of a sudden, you're up here talking about something. I think we should alter the way we approach this. And I'm going, you should have thought about that up front. Soon as that ideal or suggestion was thrown out to you, you should have shot it down immediately. Like, what? Man, get out of here, man. Hey, kids, young women, bounce. Soon as somebody say, hey, you know what, Newsom, for our illegal immigrants, would make them feel really at home and would vote us in forever if we could get them to be able to vote, it's giving them all health care. There you go. He should have shot that down. It should have never got to the point where now he got to walk it back.
Would apply to anyone living in the country illegally over 19 years or older, and this would also start as of January 2026. And what this means is that anyone who is already enrolled wouldn't necessarily be kicked out, but they would have to pay a monthly premium of $100.
Oh, look at that, guys. And we don't want to really cut loose the wokeness. We don't want to really sever all of the crazy policies. We just want to tweak them so we can lie about it and say we did make some changes. So let me understand, if you're a young, healthy, illegal immigrant that already is getting the benefits of our health system, all you got to do is scrape up $100 a month to stay on it. But now, if you are just coming in, that the fountain's turned off. No money for the newcomers, but the ones that's already on it. All it requires is $100 a month. You can walk around and find $100 of change on the ground in a month if you live in the right area. So forget all of the money they take out of my check for healthcare, per check. Hey, how about we get this offer? $100 a month. I'll take it. So he don't want to go cold turkey on the wokeness. When you all jacked up and addicted to woke, you don't want to go ahead and go cold turkey on it. You got to kind of, break it down slowly. Get rid of a little wokeness here and there. It's like the Jerry curl. I was at work the other night talking to this dude who grew up around me, in the 80s. And, some young boy was asking us, did y'all have a curl? And we was like, yeah, we had a curl, man. The curl was in back then. You know what I'm saying? We went through all the different styles of curls. It was like, you got the carefree, you got the Jerry, you got the S, you got all these different curls and different types of activator. And he's like, so when did you get rid of your curl? We both was like, what? It took us a while. We couldn't go ahead and go straight cold turkey. We couldn't go from a full-blown umbrella curl like Stoney Jackson or something and go right to the box cut or the low fade. You can't do that. You had to do it in stages. So you start off with the sides and just keep the top and a tail in the back. There you go. Had to have a little bangs in the front and a tail in the back with the sides shaved. There you go. And we hang on to that as long as we could until it was like, dude, you got to let that go. You got to let go full-blown high top box or something. But boy, it was some withdrawals. Every once in a while, I find my finger doing this. I'm like, oh, shoot, I ain't even got my fault. Yeah, it took me a minute to wean myself off of the curl. So these folks right here are addicted to that wokeness, and now they're trying to get off the sauce.
And what this also means is that any new enrollees would be banned from subscribing or entering this health program as of 2026.
Now he's trying to pretend that California is trying to have common sense stuff. But here you go. These are the folks that the Democrats are making gains with. The ones that's insane in the brain. So now, let's hear this obvious lesbian. Okay, gotta make sure you know that. So I'm gonna come out with a fade. There you go. And I'm gonna get mad at Gavin Newsom for this craziness. Now, this is what I mean. Only someone who thinks like this person is logging on to the Democrat side. I want to register as a Democrat. These are the folks they're making games with. So let's see.
Gavin Newsom, there is only one thing more f***ing enraging than you throwing our community under the bus.
Are throwing our community under the bus? Somebody said, Kev, got pictures? I do. But I would never let you guys see them. Ever, never, ever, ever, never. No, never. If they offered me 1 million gazillion trillion dollars, I'd be like, ooh, no. I can't let you see me with that curl. That's right. Making sure I shake it so it can just all over the place. Yeah, ruining pillowcases wherever I go. That's what I was doing. So now let's continue, because this person says that the community is in trouble. So let's hear it. Here we go.
By torturing children, literally tormenting and destroying the mental health of transgender children.
It's not, see, this is what I mean. They're making gains with the insane. This woman is saying torturing children, the transgender children, mentally. I'm going, you know what's messing those kids up? Mentity is the adults that are encouraging them to embrace something that they can never acquire. Trying to set them up for a lifetime of disappointment, sticking that carrot right in front of their faces and telling them, if you keep doing this and you keep injecting this and you get this cut off and you do this and you get mad and blame other people for you not ever being able to accomplish what is impossible. You will never become what you are not. And I don't care how much these people convince you of that and blame other people who are trying to keep you grounded in reality of being the people who hate you and they want to see you torture. And I'm going, no, you guys are messing these kids up mentally. Where did this big uptick of kids wanting to become transition, this come from? Where did it come from? Did the kids invent this? Did somebody in the third grade, I thought, you know what? Can I see those crayons? Okay. You know, I was thinking, Tommy, I was thinking maybe I could become a little girl. Yeah, that's a good idea. You know what we should call that? Transgenderism. That's what we gonna do. No, the adults came up with this and then start telling the kids about it. Influencing them. Subjecting them to this nonsense. And then the perverted ones started to teach this mess to them. Encourage it in schools. Introduce it to their mind. The kids, they're not creative enough to come up with this. The adults laid it out in front of them, pretending that, what? We're just here presenting the information. Okay. Oh, well, what's that? You know, a kid's going to be curious. What's a transgender? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you the story of the transgender on the bus. The transgender on the bus goes round and round. Nobody wants that. So here this person is trying to blame Gavin Newsom, even though he's fake, for tormenting these kids. Yeah, mentally. Unbelievable.
And all children. Because tormenting and traumatizing children by publicly outing them and making them compete in sports in their own category, that's...
Publicly outing them. You know what publicly outed them? The big rock jaw, the long arms, the long legs. Yeah, that you publicly outed yourself. And nobody, I had no idea that person who's beating all these girls by 10 yards in a 100-yard dash was a little boy. Had no idea. Thanks for telling me, but you outed that boy right there. I had no idea he was a boy. We all know the secret, but these folks want us all to pretend that what we're looking at is a little girl. But she's talking about you publicly outed them. I'm going, no. The fact that they're beating the girls publicly outed them. That's what it is. But they're publicly outing them. So now, you're telling me then, it's not torture mentally to live your life longing for something and believing something that is impossible when you're not operating in reality. It sucks enough to be sane, have a goal that you haven't accomplished. I never forget, always wanted to become a millionaire. And who knows, I might luck up at this point and find some money or something, who knows. But my Uncle Ron, y'all know him. My Uncle Ron always got some meat in his teeth. Toothpick, and if you ain't got one, the tongue becomes a toothpick. So let me get this straight. He was a millionaire, and I'm sitting out there with him one day, me and my buddy Clinton. I was about 32, 33. And I said, you know what, Ron? I said, by now, I thought I'd be a millionaire. He said, yeah. How old are you now? I said, 33. He said, yeah, it's about over. And walked off. He didn't give me no encouragement. He didn't say, yeah, you never know. Let's keep trying. Stick with it, buddy. Nothing. Sat there, said, 33. Yeah, it's about over. And walked off. I'm like, well, dang. So I know how it feels to be a sane person chasing a goal or something of that nature. And you're going, this is actually attainable. I just got to figure out how to obtain it. I got to tap into the resources. I got to do whatever I got to do. Yeah, see, versus somebody giving you something that you will never obtain, creating a false reality for you. That's torture. That right there is the one thing. I'm going to wake up and really have some type of ovaries. No, you're not. If I keep believing enough, if I get enough operations, I'll be able to get pregnant as a man. No, you're not. I thought, you know what? Just because I use a tampon for men, however that works, that makes me a woman. No. I got my Adam's apple shaved down. Still a man. I got rid of all the facial hair and stuff surgically. Don't matter. Don't matter. I chopped off my wavels and got rid of the apple stem. It doesn't matter. You will always be frustrated by that reality. And don't be blaming conservatives. See, so either you're going to be blaming your parents that should have checked this when you was a kid, or you'll be blaming everybody else for your problems. You know, at least back in the day, before this insanity hit, there were folks called transvestites. They knew what they were, though. They said, I'm going to alter some things because I want to live as this, whatever. But they never said, hey, mom, dad, I'm actually a woman now. They always knew, I just don't like being a man, and I'm going to do whatever I can to alter my body. Now, scrap that. Just believe. That's all you got to do. Right now, it's just you blink a couple times, kick your heels together. There's no place like transphobia, trans home. There's no place like trans home. And you're there. There you go. Let's continue. Listening to this woman attack Gavin Newsom because, see, she's one of those ones that the Democrats have right there. Their gains are with people like this.
Separate from everyone else isn't great for any youth. That is traumatizing.
Isn't great for any youth. Separation from everyone else. That's not separation. Nobody's separating you. You can go ahead over there and run against people of your own sex. It's that simple. But now it's traumatizing. See the strong man that they try to put up there? They are politicizing these kids to push their adult perverted agenda. And all of a sudden now, you don't want to be the person who's attacking kids and traumatizing them. But forget about all of the girls who got beat by this dude. That's not traumatizing. Forget about the guy that I showed y'all yesterday. I think it might be yesterday or the day before. The fast pitcher. Yeah, the softball pitcher with the long arms. This firing underhand pitch. Now, first of all, when you see female professional softball pitchers, they underthrow those balls so fast. I'd be going, I didn't think you could throw a ball like that, underhanded that fast. I might have a problem hitting that ball. Now, imagine if a man is throwing that underhanded pitch. It's even that much faster. So these girls trying to hit that ball is like them trying to hit a professional fastball. None of them can hit it. And the commentator's like, wow, she struck out another one. Go figure. It could be the result of those long arms and all that testosterone, but we don't want to say that. So it's obvious she's just a very skilled, exceptional athlete. No, she's striking him out because she's a man, baby. So now here she is talking about those kids that are going to be mentally upset. Forget the girls who get beat by these dudes.
Young people are not going to feel safe in that environment, and that
safe. I can't stand when they say that. When liberals talking about safe, these folks should be walking around with helmets, have the shoulder pads, body armor, everything that says safe. They use that all the time. You got to feel safe. Now imagine if we tried to make sure every individual human being in society felt safe in every environment they go in. We would be an insane society. Everybody would need to be in a padded room somewhere. So what are you talking about? Safe. Everywhere you go, people have to tiptoe around you, tiptoe around your feelings, make sure they don't offend you. So now we got to feel unsafe to make you feel safe. These folks are nuts. But hey, these are the folks that the Democrats are making gains with.
That is well documented by research.
What research? Transgender researchers, the Richard Levine Yes, I think that the data says, according to me, that transgender kids who shouldn't exist are more happier when we go ahead and affirm them and let them go ahead and live a life of delusion, only to be disappointed as they get older. Only to get older and say, what were you thinking, mom or dad? I was 7. Will you allow me to do this? Did you think I was able to consent to this? Why didn't you just give me the keys to the car? Yeah, let me fire up a stogie. Why don't you? Hey, if I could go ahead and make that choice, yeah, how about wild parties? Give me some booze. I want some Black Velvet. I want some moonshine, Everclear, some Coke 45. I want all of that. It's 7. Matter of fact, go purchase me a gun. I'm only 7. I'm making my own choices. Unbelievable.
Which we can go into another time. But the thing that is more enraging, even than that, is how bad your political calculation is.
Now, that's true. But she has recognized it for the wrong reasons. Let's see what the insane woman says. Here we go.
That this is somehow an effective way to moderate your positions, or that you're going to appeal to more people. This is such a misreading, and it drives me crazy. And you would think that someone who's been around and in politics as long as you would be able to understand that what people want right now across the political spectrum is someone who's gonna fight and be impactful and get things done.
Now see, that shows she's insane. Reason is she's miscalculating or misinterpreting what Gavin Newsom is doing. Yeah, she's thinking his calculation is wrong because that people want him to fight for them and get things. Not realizing all of that red on the map represents what people want the Democrats to fight for. All that red on the map is not because they want Democrats to fight for transgender rights and kids being able to get transgender and illegal immigrants get health care. No, all of that red on the map is telling folks that we've heard what these liberal politicians have been pushing and doing, and we don't like it. So actually, Gavin Newsom has a higher political IQ than this chick. He's saying, I see the writing on the wall. So opening up the border is not popular. That giving health care to illegal immigrants is not popular. That, you know what, letting little boys beat girls is not popular. So why would I fight for something that I know all the folks on that red map says we don't like this? However, this guy's stuck in purgatory. He's in limbo. The reason is he's going to lose the insane folks and he's not going to gain the sane folks. So the folks that are saying they're going to go, dude, we still know what you're about. You're trying to pull a Kamala Harris on us early. Kamala waited till the last second. That these are still my values. However, even though they're my values, my policies that differ from my values now all of a sudden. We all know that you're still infested with wokeness. Yeah, man. All that smokeness is coming off you from wokeness. We're going to, you don't see that woke smoke coming off of him? Yeah, you can't hide it. Everywhere you go, you leave that woke smoke behind you. So he'll never be embraced by either. But he at least has enough sense to know that maybe I should try to go where the current is going. But this chick don't see it like that. She's thinking we got to keep fighting against the current.
People want change, and they want someone who's meeting the moment and understanding how bad things are. Now, people don't agree about what's bad, right? You have MAGA people who think what's bad is snowflakes and liberals, and you have people on the left who think what's bad is something else. Fine. But everybody wants drastic change, and is someone who's going to fight for that. Nobody.
Yeah, but see, Gavin Newsom is smart enough to know that I'm fighting against the grain. That's what I'm doing. Right about now, this would have to be my Spartacus moment. I'm outnumbered. Maybe I should go ahead and be like that traitor on the movie 300 with the hunchback. See the writing on the wall. Rode up on the scene, and he wanted to just get a uni. That's what he is. He's like, I'll tell you what, I'll hook you up and tell you what Leonidas and stuff is up to. If you give me a uni, that's all I need is a uniform. My man sold him out for a uni. So my man right here, Gavin Newsom, is going, you see all these conservatives around here? Hey, man, I can't fight a losing battle. Yeah, at some point, They're going to go, dude, why are you trying to convince us that little kids should be transitioned? Why are you trying to convince us that these boys should be in girls' sports? We don't like that. Yeah, you're outnumbered. And he sees it, but not her. Yeah, she thinks out there we could take them, y'all. We could win.
Body wants a sad, pathetic, pandering bitch ass.
He is a panderer.
Who has no compass.
That's true.
And is happy to go back to separate but equal if he thinks that that's gonna get him votes.
I didn't get. Wow, you hear that? Oh, and here's the gains that they're making with the men. Look at these are liberal men right here. Okay, wait, let me get in the key of woke, the key of liberalism. Here we go. God. 1, 2, 3. Am I at my nostrils enough? Am I nasally enough? Okay, cool. Okay, so here we go. Here's this guy right here.
Taking out the dinner first. In a not so surprising turn of events, given his recent podcast guests, Gavin Newsom has decided to cut $17 million from queer healthcare.
Yeah, $17 million from the healthcare. Why? Why did he do
specifically gender affirming care?
Specifically gender affirming care. There it is. They're making gains with softcore guys like this. At that gender affirming care. If you are a man and you are out here advocating for gender affirming care, you need to check your testes. Make sure they're there. Make sure they didn't fall off and roll down your pants leg and you left them somewhere on the street. So this guy, especially gender affirming, what gender affirming care are you talking about? No such thing. Made up title so y'all can push this woke craziness and then bill people for it. Unbelievable. So are you real men out there worried about gender affirming care? Is that something you guys wake up thinking about? We got to be more concerned about these people who think they're something that they're not. And instead of treating them for mental problems and delusion, that we're going to treat them by enabling them, making them feel justified in their craziness. So now here he is. That's one thing he's mad at Newsom for. Here we go. What else?
And it's going to be on Pride Month, ending on June 30th.
And it's going to be on Pride Month, ending on June 30th. Yeah, you see all of this wokeness coming together on this guy right here? The ones that's insane. So now he's worried about gender affirming care. He's worried about Pride Month. How many of you straight, real men, when you wake up or go to work, coming home after working on that jackhammer all over the place, are thinking about Pride Month coming out? You know, honey, next month is Pride Month. Did you hear what Trump is doing? Or you hear what Gavin Newsom's doing? He's rolling back gender affirming care, medical. Well, yes, we should allow our medical and our taxes to go towards helping people live out their delusion. That's what we should do. Yeah. So now that's two things. That's two things that shows this guy's insane.
Of this year. This bill also stops any applications for undocumented immigrants.
Insane in the brain. You got to be insane in the brain. When these are your issues, you want Gavin Newsom, and by default, want everybody else. See, Gavin Newsom is smart enough to know he can't be out here in Alabama talking about some, if you vote for me, we're going to have health care for illegal immigrants. We're going to go ahead and allow health care for gender affirming care. And to top it off, we're going to make sure that we all celebrate Pride Month. You can't be rolling around the Midwest with these as your go-tos. This only flies in Cali, maybe New York, out there in Seattle, Minnesota. But this mess don't fly. So they're making gains, but not with the same. So let's continue hearing about this guy who got problems with all this stuff. And yet they wonder why they losing men.
To get on the state-funded healthcare plan. Gavin, what the fuck, man? Why are you a wolf in sheep's clothing? So you're going to the LGBTQ plus community and the undocumented immigrants?
Sticking it to the LGBT plus Q community and the documented the immigrants. Are you crazy? If this money was coming out of this bum's pocket, he'd be like, cut this crap off right now. Right now. So, yeah, there it is. We want all of our citizens to use their tax dollars for these crazy ideas and these things like that. So, yeah, you're right. Gavin Newsom is a wolf in sheep's clothing. We always knew that. Most Democrat politicians are, for the simple fact, they don't believe these are smart ideas. They create this crap and they support it because they want to demonize their opponents. devils, and they hate these folks. And look, we're supporting the little man to victimize people. Marxist conflict theory. You know how it is. But this guy's bought into it. Yeah, I guess he thinks we can push forward our agenda and our beliefs by forcing our politicians to support a whole bunch of ideas and policies that got them rejected. See, they're not even smart enough to know we can never win elections if we go in with this. You can't tell the person up front on the first date that you're crazy. Can't do that. You got to at least make them think you're sane for a while. These people, they don't get that. They think Gavin Newsom's political calculation is off. And I'm going, even though he's a rat, at least he's smart enough to go, I can't go out there and show the folks up front that I'm crazy. The date's over. I got to open the door. I got to act like I'm tolerating the nonsense, and I ain't got a quick temper. If she gets a phone call at the dinner table, I can't be like, so, who was that? What? This is our first date. I don't know you very well. And why are you asking me who that was? Oh, I didn't know. I thought maybe everything okay? Yes. You know what? I'm uncomfortable. Take me home. That's what will happen. So now here this guy is right here talking about, let's let the craziness, get that out there up front.
In California, of all places. Now, I don't know about the rest of the California gays and theys. However, we've pretty much built this state. We've been
and that's the problem. Now you're beholden to all of those insane in the brain folks that you've made gains with. There you go, Gavin. You got all of these folks out there that are woke and don't realize that wokeness does not fly across the whole country. Nobody wants to see, we see it coming from a mile away. We're like, hey, let's go and quarantine this state from wokeness. So now this guy's out there talking about, you built these folks, we're a whole bunch of transgender, illegal immigrant the folks out here with the LGBT. We built this Gavin nuisance, and if you don't support us and pretend that you are still supporting us, then we gonna go ahead and. So go ahead, get rid of Gavin Newsom.
Putting this place as a place that's a safe space for everyone to come and avoid the nonsense in this country.
A safe place for everybody to come. Basically, a safe place, for the Sodom and Gomorrah? That's what we want. Anybody who got the most craziest ideas, beliefs, or policies, come on out to California and express it as we continue to ruin that state. Now, the voters got to say, and I'll look at it like this, go right on ahead and destroy California if you want to. There you go. Tear that sucker down. But at least we want to give all of the same folks in California a chance, like Noah's Ark. There you go. Y'all better come on in the house, because it's going to rain. Come on in the house, because it's going to rain. Say drip, drip, drop, drop, drip, 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 drop, 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 drop. Come on in the house before California goes under. Same thing with New York. I'll be talking about that tomorrow. Let's continue, though.
And on top of that, this state literally depends on undocumented immigrants, and
that's a problem. This state literally depends on undocumented immigrants. How do you set yourself up for that type of failure? And these people think that's okay. They don't realize that if it depends on undocumented immigrants, that must mean that rich people that run businesses are pimping out all of these undocumented immigrants. The rich man, the big corporations, are getting rich. Now, these people will be the first, that these big corporations are taking away, they just pay their fair share of taxes and all of this stuff. But somehow they're okay with these corporations forsaking the American workers and just going ahead and bringing in all the illegal immigrants to work for about 9 cents an hour. And making sure the Gavin Newsom's grape yard, this vineyard, is, tilled and all of that. What? No. Look, I'm sick of you asking me, Pepe, for a raise. Now, $4.50 should be enough for you. Okay, look, you're somewhat close to minimum wage, somewhat close. But look, don't look at me like that. If you were back in Guatemala, you think you'd be making $4.50 an hour? No. Now get out there and finish with the grapes, and then afterwards I need my toilets cleaned and my pool scrubbed and stuff like that. No, you can't come in the house. Dang on it. I don't know what you're capable of. I don't know. You're an undocumented citizen. Why would I let you hang out in my house? For a better life. So now let's continue. Here we go.
Away their health care? Well, this is a call out to every Californian. We are going to dump Gavin Newsom like the bad mother piece of shit that he is.
Do it! Because that's exactly what he is, though. That is exactly what he is. But if you let these folks right here go ahead and pick the next one, they'll pick somebody who is even worse than Gavin Newsom, if that's possible. That's how crazy these folks are. Boy, I tell you. I mean, I know the weather and climate is great in Cali and all, but I don't know. I mean, you are outnumbered by these folks out there because that's who they're making gains with.
He ain't going to get a chance to get to the presidential race because we're done with him.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that, though. Because if he gets there, we'll be done with him. We'll go ahead and stick a fork in him. Once we bust out that Dookie map. Yeah, when Ron DeSantis broke that Dookie map out, all Gavin the Newsom could do was chuckle. Yeah, that is kind of crazy, man. Dookie map. You got me. That was a good one, though. I didn't think you'd find the Dookie map. Yeah, we found that Dookie map. Let's continue.
This is 100% a clear betrayal to all queer and trans.
Y'all hear that? So he should be focused not on the 98% of Americans who ain't even thinking about the queer and trans folk community. He shouldn't be focused on those people. He should be focused on that 2% of the queer and trans people and the stuff that makes us feel like we're in safe spaces. Just like they approach these girls that are getting beaten in sports. Let's focus on this one boy who thinks he's a girl. But let's forget about the other 20 girls in that sport. This is how liberal brains work. That's why they're insane in the brain. So now this guy thinks it's a good political model to focus on the LGBT community and the trans community. How do you think that's going to fare in Pennsylvania, the coal miners, in Ohio, the steel workers, Pennsylvania? How do you think that's going to fare? See, that's how crazy and insane these folks are.
It's Californians. So if you're here and you're queer or trans, now's the time to make your voice heard.
Yeah. All 1% of you, all 2% of you, it's time to make your, like we haven't been hearing y'all voices for the last 20 years. All over the place. Transgender women are women. And you know what? That's all we've been hearing. And we've been hearing it primarily by a political party who's been amplifying it and echoing it, who decided to put their chips on that right there. There's like, you know what? Let's go ahead. I think this might become a good thing. Let's jump on board with this and push it heavy. Only to find out now that, okay, I guess the rest of America ain't feeling it. Now we got to try to ease back. But look what they created. Because they made gains with the insane. Now you're trying to go ahead and change up the game because you done brought in insanes and made gains. But look what remains. Nothing but insanes. So now here you go with the insanes telling you to forget the rest of America. Focus on the LGBTQ and the transgender community. That'll get you to the White House.
Because this is the last bastion of safe space for all queer and trans people.
Oh, God. Their whole lives revolve around that. They think they're more important than they are. I made a video, if you haven't seen it, it was one of my most popular videos. But it was, look, black people, it was white people. Wait, what was that title? It was, white people don't care about you. No, white people don't care about black people. That's what it was. And it was a play on words. Because see, the average angry for nothing black radical might be like, yeah, that's right. The white man don't care about us. They always stomping on us. But the reality is, white folks don't get up every day thinking about how they can show black folks that they hate them and they're filled with racism. You think more highly of yourself than you should. If you think you're walking around an average white person like, there's one right there. Come on, Earl, let's pull over and show them how much we hate blacks. If you're thinking that's what's going on, you're delusional. Yeah, you're saying the problem is you. Yeah, you're the one suspicious and paranoid. They're all looking at, they're looking for, what do you mean by that? On the job. Says, excuse me, Kevin, do you know what? You're about 17 minutes late from lunch. Well, it's because I'm black. That's why you ain't saying nothing to anybody else. Yes, I did, actually. Well, I ain't see that. Those are problems. Same thing with these people. These people with that safe space. If you're trans and queer, you can get to California for a safe space. As you're traveling to California, everybody's out of your way. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody's like, no, don't let the transgender get away. Stop them at the line, the border. Keep them right here. Let's go ahead and put them in jail. No, nobody is thinking about these people until they show up in a school singing to the kids, or they show up on a track field or in a boxing ring or something like that. Other than that, live your life. Nobody cares. But yet they're talking about safe space because they need to feel like they're constantly under attack. Like the dumb, famous folks that are leaving the country. That I had to get out of that country. Things are crazy. I'm over here in Ireland. Rosie O'Donnell. I'm going, for what? But I'm not going to stop you. If you're that crazy and delusional to think you're that threatened, that you had to flee the country, more power to you. Nobody cares about you. That's why you got to keep making videos. This is me. I'm over here. If you stop that, we would forget you ever existed. Let's continue, though.
We're not going to let some stupid white guy with a shitty haircut ruin for everybody.
There we go. Stupid white guy. You would think this guy was a Black Panther or something. When white liberals start doing that, I'm going, ugh. Some stupid white guy. Like we can't recognize what we're seeing in front of our face. You are actually the stupid white guy. Along with Gavin Newsom too. But nonetheless, when I hear them try to switch and all of a sudden become a white racist towards white people, some stupid white guy, like you're not one. Boy, immediately I'm going, ugh, you're trying too hard. You're one of those woke white liberals who think you're hip and cool because you're calling out white guys, unlike yourself.
Just because he wants to be president one day. So directly to Gavin Newsom, you're not going to be president, and we are all going to make sure of it.
Controversy. We sure are going to make sure of it. But then the problem with it is this, guys. You got the media that's out here trying to help those Democrats make gains with the insane when it comes down to stories like this. So you just heard that guy right there with that hat on talking about the trans kids, this stuff. And then that one lady with that butch haircut talking about the safe spaces and stuff. Well, this lady in this ring, yeah, she didn't feel safe in the last Olympics. And she got her block knocked off. And yet when folks called it out, they were called trans folks. Shut your mouths. Because that man girl right there, that man woman who punched her in the face so hard that she couldn't go on and wouldn't shake his hand, yeah, she's the victim. And then you get folks like this running to his rescue. And now look what happened as we close. There's a twist to this story.
Controversy over gender in women's sports is now unfolding in the Olympic spotlight.
Yeah, the controversy over men and gender in our sports. Now, just the fact that you're saying that lets you know how far we have come. Off the rails. The train has jumped the rails, is out in the middle of the desert somewhere. Kept rolling. It ain't even next to the tracks. It's like, how did it even get this far out? Jeez, oh man. I mean, we're on the East Coast. The train jumped the rails and now it's on the West Coast. Jeez. So here we go. This is now controversy. Here we go.
It was sparked by this moment. In just 46 seconds, Algerian women's boxer Iman Khalif beat her atomic.
Yeah. Look at that. Just 46 seconds. Now, do you think if they blindfolded me and I never heard about this story, ever heard about it, didn't know anything about transgenderism and all that stuff, I just came back from Jupiter and like, hey, if you've been going for a while, we got a question, we got a quiz for you. We're going to blindfold you, going to show you a picture. And you tell me, what do you see? Man or a woman? I'd be like, that's a man, baby. You don't see that jaw, that big nose? So now, this man girl got in there and beat up that woman. And let's see what happened.
An opponent, Angela Carini, in an Olympic boxing match. Now, Carini says she stopped because of the intense pain in her nose after the opening punches.
Yeah, but don't believe the woman. Now, see, they just forsake all of their morals and stuff when it fits them. When, you know, a victimized group outweighs the one, it's like, oh, who do we prioritize? Dang. Do we want to go ahead and offend the trans community? Because they're vicious. They're vicious. Let's go ahead and just forsake the woman. So now let's blame the victim. This woman gets punched in 45 seconds. I bet you she's never had a match with a female that made her say, 45 seconds, I'm done. Done. All right, I already felt the manpower. And I don't need to go any further. Might get killed. So now all of a sudden, this woman gets abused in the ring, and these folks are going to say that woman should shut her mouth and take her beating because she got beat by a man woman. Here we go.
She burst into tears after the fight and did not shake Halif's hand. That led to a flood of online abuse against Halif.
Abuse against Halif after she just abused that woman right there. After he just abused that woman right there. Look at the height. Look at the height difference of this man at the size of his arms right there. There you go. How did he even make weight to fight this other chick? So now all of a sudden he got abused online because he decided to get in there and beat up a woman. And then she's the bad guy because she didn't shake his hand. No sportsman. Now you see how perverted the left is? They want to allow this nonsense to take place and then force the women to celebrate it. There you go. All the girls who gets beat in the track meet, they're on the podium and they got to pretend that they're happy that this man won first place. The swim meet competition, the guy up there with all the gold medals on, and they're sitting there like, yeah, girl, great job. You go, girl power. No one inside, they're going, I cannot believe that we're at this place where we got to sit back and be quiet about a full-blown man beating us. Nobody recognizes how much they're getting beat by and what that could be. What contributes to the fact that that man-girl swimming was done about 30-something seconds before the next woman was? What could be contributing to that? How did that guy break all those records? What could it be that this is because he's just a woman, right? A strong woman? So now, CNN is coming to defense of this man girl.
Including from Elon Musk, J.K. Rowling, Jake Paul, and former President Trump.
And the rest of most of our country. You forgot that. You left those folks out. Criticism from Elon Musk, Jake Paul, that's President Trump, and the rest of the whole darn country. That's who was criticizing this. Everybody except the insane in the brain, when they saw this, was like, did you just see that man beat that chick up? Hey, did you see what happened? And then you turn on CNN, and this is their take on it.
Who posted this to Truth Social, quote, I will keep men out of women's sports.
Darn right.
People jump the gun on this before knowing the full story.
Y'all hear that? We jumped the gun on this before knowing the full story. So the full story to me is my eyeballs able to recognize that's a man, baby. That's the full story. The people jumped the gun on this. If it wasn't for you guys pointing it out, y'all would never know these were women. Look how feminine they are. Now y'all remember those two black kids up there, and I think it might have been, Connecticut or somewhere. Two black dudes was beating all these girls at track, went to state. They was taking 1 and 2. 1 and 2, number 1 and 2 place. And I'm going, you don't see the pattern? You don't recognize that? You're not able to put that together? Okay, you see these two dudes, and I'm watching them. I saw a video clip. They're running down the lane, full muscles, big back, wide legs, all that stuff. But they got a ponytail. There you go. Just stuck some weave in their hair. There you go. And they're scooting down that bad boy. 1 and 2. 10 seconds later, the next girl comes through. And I'm going. So I guess right now, before knowing the full story, I thought, well, we want to do some background, some research. I know they look like boys. But in reality, they're women on the inside. There's still more research we got to do about. No, my eyeballs let me know what the heck was going on. Right off grip. My conscience, all the years of history supported me. Yeah, I use all of that evidence of mankind, the whole existence. I use that evidence to support it. So now here she is, before knowing the whole story. So we were all wrong, right?
Why were they so quick to come out against her?
Because that was her man, baby. That's why. Do you see this? These are the... Who do you think you're going to gain when you're supporting this type of insane stuff? Why do you think they all came out so quick against her? Well, because of how quickly she came out and beat that woman up and made her stop. 45 seconds. Bing, bing. Oh, that's it. I'm done. I am done. I mean, women who think they can fight men, They get those reality checks so quick that it almost blows their mind. I told you I was a big girl, let her girl talk her into smacking this little short dude. Yeah, she all in his face, big girl, you know. Let me tell you something, I'll beat your beep, beep. And let me tell you, you know, I wish you would. And her girl's, yeah, girl, tell him, go ahead, you don't take that stuff. He like, man, you better go on. You better go on. And nah, she couldn't leave well enough alone. And immediately, she was like, whoa, no, you, okay, yeah, how you gonna beat a girl? I'm like, that girl who was about 6 foot, looking like Grimace, dude, thinking I'm bigger than him. He's just a man. She didn't calculate the testosterone. That's what she didn't put into the equation. She's like, I'm taller, I weigh more, I'm about to slap this dude. And he gave her the business real quick. She didn't throw another punch, another blow. She had to resort to covering up the vitals. Immediately, went straight to, she recognized this is a man, baby. Real quick. Hey, she wasn't talking about, oh, you got me with a good one. Come on, yeah, what's up? Let's go toe to toe. She surrendered immediately, went right to the ground like, that's what happened in that ring. That woman felt the first punch and was like, I'm done. I ain't trying, what am I gonna gain from standing here and letting this man pummel me? But now all of a sudden, these two people, they're mad at everybody else.
It's really simple. The reality is that people in this country, certain people, certain groups of people, the conservative right being.
The conservative right being. How about the common sense people? Why does it have to be the conservative right being? No, I tell you right now, I can go and find about, just off the top of my dome, without having one person deviate from, I think I could find, if I did a survey with 20 men, or even women, 20 liberal, or should I say Democrat voters right now in my area. And the survey was, do you think this man in that ring should have been in there with her? Or do you think little boys who think their girls should be competing? And my first question would be, you're not a conservative, right? Nah, okay. What do you think about men beating up women in these sports and saying it's because they're women? They'd all be going, man, that's bullcrap. I was at the job the other night talking to some Democrat voters, and I brought that up, and it's like, man, I ain't for that. I ain't on that. I am not on that. So you would be hard pressed to go and find liberals, liberal men or women. I ain't talking about radical liberals, woke liberals, just regular Democrat voters. You'd be hard pressed to find any of those who said, yeah, I think this is cool. And by you saying something about it, you're transphobic. But yet she wants to point it out that mostly the conservative right. And I'm going, no, common sense Americans.
At the top of the list are weaponizing trans women in the trans community and using that as part of their ongoing culture wars.
The weaponizing, that's the ongoing culture wars. Now, you notice this right there? Over here, the difference between the person in blue and the person over here? You see that right there? Like Bobby Boucher said, she showed me her boobies and I like those too. Yeah, that girl got boobs. Yeah, all of this is woman fat right there. That's a little extra fat. She's not as toned as the person over there. She got boobs. You can see her arms, her shoulders, everything. Where's this man boob? You don't see no man boobs right there? Yeah, he didn't get none of those at birth. Those don't kick in after you decide I'm now transgender. They just start growing. Once I activate the transgender gene in my head, automatically boobs just come. No. Yeah. So this person over here with a man chest, man arms, and this lady over here, that even though she might be in good shape for a female, I can obviously tell her build is feminine. His build is masculine. But yet these fools are over here talking about this. You know what? The folks are using this as a wedge, and these people are using this for the culture wars. Did we never start? We never start culture wars. We mind our business, and as long as everything is running smooth, don't break it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then they go out and break it and say, not that, you know what? So now, instead of us saying, yeah, we're trying to protect this woman, we're out here pushing culture wars for political reasons.
And this young lady, unfortunately, was the victim of what is a gross American mentality.
So now what lady are you talking about? The real lady or the fake lady? Now, do you see why CNN is the worst? Now, fortunately, this woman was a victim of that girl. And I'm thinking, you got to be talking about the female who got punched in the face and quit in 45 seconds. You got to be talking about her. But no, you'd be wrong. She's talking about this man, baby. That's who she's talking about. Hey, that man's a victim of America and all that stuff and this racism and stuff.
Not adopted by all mentality, but we're talking about that there is certainly a huge issue with trans.
That dude looks like just a dude with braids. That is it. I mean, he should have his butt over there fighting with the boys. I would never even know he was a trans woman if he was out there fighting with guys. I would think he's just a guy with braids. Nothing about him is feminine. Yeah, you don't fool me with just putting the cornrows in, because we got a lot of straight dudes who put the cornrows in. Right now, I don't see no transgenderism in him at all. I just see a dude in there with braids. And here she is. Yeah, the culture and the people and racism and xenophobia, transphobia.
Phobia in our country. And if people understood for 2 minutes what the dynamics of this was, it never should have got out of hand in this regard.
No, you're right about that. It should have never got to this point where this man is in there beating up this woman. But she's saying that we're ignorant. She's blaming it on us. Yeah, the audience with common sense. The people who's watching this going, what the crap did I just witness here? I feel guilty watching that. Feel guilty about I just sat back and watched an assault. So now here she is out there. If you just do 1 second to research it and stuff, and then y'all are ignorant. Y'all ready for the big egg to the face? Yeah, man, this story is not going to end well for these idiots right here.
And I feel so sorry for this young woman who's been subjected to these attacks.
Me too. I feel sorry for that woman in that ring that was subjected to those attacks by that straight up dude right there. That's who I feel sorry for. The one who got beat and was crying in 45 seconds and didn't want to shake that man's hand. Yeah, that's who I feel sorry for. But remember, guys, these are the women who's protecting women's rights. Yeah, these are the folks over here in that little box right there, pretending that we support women.
When all it boiled down to was that the woman that she competed against realized after getting hit, she couldn't compete.
Oh, I mean,
to be frank, you just got your butt beat.
Oh, that's your conclusion. Now, what a slap in the face to women. That's your conclusion. So for all of these little girls around the country that's getting beat by boys in their sports, shut up. You just got your butt beat. Hey, how do you tell that to your daughter? All right, you're sitting back like, honey, all right, you've been training all year for the powerlifting contest. The last second, whoa, what's going on, ref? Oh yeah, this is a newcomer, late entry. Well, that late entry looks like he should be going to the other side of the room where the guys are. No, that's a transgender girl. Well, that's a big, all right, what's going on here? Elton, she just broke the record. And your little daughter comes in second place, knowing that she would have been first place if it wasn't from that guy. And then the ref tells you, hey, man, suck it up. The problem is your daughter just got beat. Well, she outlifted her by 100 pounds. Nobody else has that big of a distance and a gap. Could it be the fact that that's a man? Now we got an unbreakable record? That's right, she shattered the woman's record. This isn't going to be broken for decades, Jim. And you're sitting there going, yeah, you're right about that. Until another man comes along and does it. And so, yet your response is, well, shut up. You just got beat. Now, this dumb behind chick, that's what she concludes. The bottom line, this woman did not feel and recognize the difference between her and that dude. Yeah, like this professional boxer wouldn't know that. All of a sudden, she's like, man, I've never been in a ring with a girl this powerful. Oh my God, this girl hit me one time and I was done. No, she's going, that man hit me one time and I was done. Never had a woman hit me like this, enough to make me quit in 45 seconds. But this sellout chick got the nerve to be talking about, bottom line, she just got her butt whooped. Boy, these people are disgusting. Now, I'm waiting for an apology because look what happened, y'all.
And that's the end. That's the end of what happened.
These people are crazy. These people are crazy.
This is not a transgender woman. This is a woman who is used as a poster child to try to convey some other culture war.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Go to the defense of the woman man who beat up the woman and the trans community that y'all push and support so much to where you lost all the sane folks, go to the defense. Yeah, that's right. Go ahead and offend all of our common sense. Go ahead and side with the 20, probably less than that % of the world who sees this and says that's a bunch of shit. Go ahead and defend that and see how it works out for you. Because look, the truth always comes out. But don't come out in the wash, comes out in the rinse.
The fact that she is being used in that way is something that is just so unbelievable.
I am fully qualified to take part in this competition. I'm a woman like any other woman.
Y'all hear that? I'm fully qualified to participate in this competition. I'm a woman just like any other woman. It just happened to be that I'm a man woman. So let's continue hearing the man woman tell everybody to shut up, leave me alone, because I'm a woman just like every other woman.
I was born a woman, I lived a woman, I competed as a woman. There's no doubt about that.
I beg to differ.
You knew I couldn't show you all these clips without a twist at the end. Yeah, man, I'm about to hit y'all with the 6th Sense twist at the end, y'all. What is this? Leaked? Well, look at that leaked medical report that shows that this person is a what? Biological man, baby. Oh, my. Dun, dun, dun. The plot right there.
Gee, what a total shocker.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we had to wait until the leaked document came out to conclude that that was actually a man. Or did we just go ahead and jump the shark with our own eyeballs and common sense? See, I was ahead of the leaked document. See, I was able to make a diagnosis on this one before those folks on CNN who just went and attacked everybody for using, the I know what I'm talking about because of common sense application to figure that one out. Now, is anybody going to go back and stick that leaked document to the forehead of those two? Read that. Stick it right to their forehead. Read that. As you go out and talk about it's Trump and the culture wars and everybody and the racism and sexism and transphobia and this woman right here should be. Yeah. So now this lady who got beat up in the ring is justified for not shaking that man's hand. While those two dummies, unfortunately, will still get away with that type of segment and propaganda. But the question is, moving forward, is this what the Democrats are going to continue to hitch their wagon to? Because if they are, they're going to make some gains, but it's only going to be with the insane. That's only what they're going to be making gains with. Look at that. Yeah, I couldn't tell it. It was a toss-up right there. Looking at that picture, I had no idea. I'm like, well, it kind of looks like a man, but then she got the Fraggle Rock hairstyle right there. I don't know. It could go either way. That's a pretty rocky jaw she got right there. I don't know. Can I see any feminine characteristic? None? Ooh, I'm going to go with neutral. Yep. There we go. Once again, we were proven to be right. We're undefeated. Nature is undefeated too. So is common sense. And that is why the Democrat Party is getting destroyed. That is why they're not going to make any gains with the sane. They're only going to make gains with the insane. And they are finding few and far between those people as they move forward. We see their protests dwindling. We see all of the vitriol. They're now producing the bottom feeders of their supporters and protesters. I guess maybe all the money they were laundering kind of stifled that or whatever. But when you see them come out and protest and get mad and stuff, you're looking at these people like, these aren't people that I look at as credible anyway. If these folks are mad about these issues, you think I'm going to look at that and go, wow, I need to get on board with that. These are smart, common sense folks that are relatable. So obviously they must know something. Nope. Every time they come out, I'm going, you think I relate to these people? You think I'm going to relate to the old cat ladies that's coming out? The old hippies and long hair or the folks with no bass in their voice or the angry young college students that's screaming. You think I'm going to relate to that? The softcore dudes that y'all are producing? You think that's going to make me go, well, I might want to connect. I see something in them right now that makes me say, yeah, you know what these represent? Folks that, I would want to hang around with. I mean, the way they protest, the way they support, the things they support. how crazy and radical and how delusional they are. We watched those two people tonight, my show. There was Gavin Newsom needs to support the trans and that the kids. They really believe this crap. And I'm going, who's jumping on board with this? What sane American that's watching these two vent are going to say, well, you changed my mind. I see what you're talking about. They're going to go, well, you're sounding crazy. Yeah, that's what you sound. And just like the two CNN people we just saw, sound crazy. As they're talking about that, you know what, that she should have been allowed and everybody's attacking her. And I'm going, you're sounding crazy and you're trying to make me become crazy. You're trying to make us now become delusional and start questioning reality and second thinking it and wondering if all the data and the facts and the history and the biology told us the truth and the Bible. Thank you. Somebody said Jesus loves us. Yeah. Now we have to question if the Bible really meant God created man and woman. Because who knows? He could have created man, woman, and transgenders. We don't know. We don't know. So keep on with that mess. I'm like, you're doing great. You're going to be a star, Democrats. These are the things you should focus on. You're making great gains with the insane. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. Thanks for kicking it with me tonight. Oh boy, as soon as I said it, God bless y'all. Here they come. But make sure you please hit the like button on the way out. Share my videos. Follow me on all the other social media platforms. And most likely, I might be, matter of fact, I may not be going out of town. Who knows? If I don't, I'll be back tomorrow at 7 or so. If I do, you won't see me. But if you keep your notifications on, either way, you'll be all right. So make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you follow me on all the other platforms. And if you want to, check out Kevin's Corner Store, or you can support my channel through my Cash App and my PayPal. Definitely would appreciate it. All right. Thanks a lot. Let's get out of here. Aren't you glad you're not insane in the brain? Got a hand around y'all throats. Yeah. Take care.